I want to talk about some vocab words before we talk about the assignment that you're going to work on today. The first one is not new to you, an arc. So you are familiar with arc, and arc is part of the circumference of a circle. So we didn't define it that way, but if we think of, now that you know circumference, remember circumference is completely around a circle like the perimeter. And so arc is just a portion of that. So I might not want to know the length completely around a circle, but I might just want to know that portion. And that has a length as well. And we call that an arc. And so one of the more familiar ones we're familiar with is the semicircle, which is half of a circle. So there's that arc. So we have minor arcs that look like this, that are short, semicircles that are like this, and then major arcs that go beyond the semicircle like that. Some new vocab to you is a sector. So just like an arc is part of the circumference, the sector is part of the area. So we're not talking about the entire circle, but we're talking about just a piece of it. So think of it as pie or pizza. Like the whole pizza or the whole pie is the total area, but whatever piece you have is the sector. So we have a little pie slice right here. That's a small sector. A semicircle, again, is also a sector. It's half of that circle. So a sector is just cutting out a chunk from within the circle, not just along the outside. And then one last new vocabulary is chord. And you're familiar with one specific chord, but in general, chords are segments whose endpoints are on the circle. So the chord that you're familiar with is the diameter. Both endpoints, here and here, are on the circle, and it goes through the center of the circle. So it's the diameter. But chords can be all over the circle. Here's a shorter chord going from here to here. And here's a chord that almost looks like it goes through the center, but the center is really right about there. So it just goes, it's just through the circle. So chords really can be anywhere. Like I could put one here. I could put one there. I could put one here. So chords just are a line segment somewhere in the circle that has both endpoints on the circle. So what you're going to be working on today, and we're going to review a little bit before you do that, is you're going to be working in IXL. It's a pretty easy lesson. If you've forgotten how to log in, go to your Google Classroom, and there are typed out instructions under the first day that we used IXL. So it's under IXL Central Angles, and that was on April 13th that you did that. And so those instructions are typed out on how to get into IXL. If you don't remember how to do that, when you go into Clever and log in with your Google account and then find the IXL button. But if you need that information, it's still there in Google Classroom for you. You are going to be working in section U.1, parts of a circle. Mostly identifying some parts of a circle, an arc, a chord, a sector. You are going to get to a SMART score of 70. It should be pretty easy and pretty quick for you to do. A few things before you do that I want to review. Remember, a radius goes from the center of a circle to the edge. It's not a chord because only this part right here is on the circle. This part is in the circle. A diameter is a chord, but specifically it's a diameter also because it goes directly through the center of the circle. And then the center of the circle is just that point in the center. The last thing that I want to review is a couple of questions that it might come up. If diameter is 16 inches, what is the radius? Well, diameter, remember, is completely across radius, so that the diameter here is 16 inches. And we want the radius. The radius is half of that. So what is that? That's an R. So we take 16, divide it by 2, because radius is half of diameter, and we get 8. So our radius is 8 inches. And then we can work the other way also. If radius is 6 meters, so here if I have from the center of the circle to the edge, 6 meters is my radius. To get my diameter, I need another radius over here. So to go from radius to diameter, it's 6 here, it's going to be 6 there, so I'm taking 6 times 2. So my diameter is 12 meters. So we're either taking diameter and dividing by 2 to get radius, or taking radius and multiplying by 2 to get diameter. And those should be the only types of problems that you see where you have to do math in this section of IXL, and the rest is just identifying the parts of a circle.